some stuff like that. Maybe just matchup versus complexity too. If complexity picks Batrider for monkeys, they're going to respond with Beastmaster. It's just going to be standard EG. All right, well, they don't even give them the Batrider first ban away. So.
Yeah, going to make Moo work for sure. So, of course, worth mentioning, I mean, this EG roster might be a group of super. They play a lot, so it's not like they're just resting on their laurels, you know, doing autograph signings, you know, hanging out with fangirls. They're working hard, and they play more than most other teams to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I've seen most teams like kind of walking around, like hanging out a bit, like chilling for like a little bit. But EG, I don't think these guys have left the room at all. They get meals by all together.
It probably smells.
It probably does smell pretty awful in there. But yeah, these guys.
The funk of Dota success.
These guys have been non-stop fiending. Complexity, I think a couple of them have been playing a good amount of pubs, but for the most part, these teams just like, you know, playing some scrims when they can, but filling out. At least for Cole, but EG, these guys are the super tryhards.
All right. Well, Complexity, some target bans here. They're going to ban the Veno and the Drow first phase. Drow was getting through a lot yesterday, even against teams like Wings who love to run it. Warriors Gaming just basically refused to ban it. I'm more afraid of some of their other heroes, but it will get removed this time, and that leaves open a first overall pick, Io. Of course, EG have a fantastic Io player. So.
Yeah. I think the cool that they even have two, right?
Arguably two, with Zai and Chris.
Exactly. I think the cool thing is that they actually do go for the last strike. I was gonna say I think Cole is gonna go for their last strike support, which they love, or they put it on Moo in like some type of pseudo aggro tri lane. It's something that they favor super heavily, and not too many other teams actually do. But I think the one thing with the Drow Ranger that I was kind of thinking about like yesterday is this is the group stages. You know, it's not like these things. No one gets eliminated in this, so maybe teams are just testing, seeing like how teams play with it, and just like later on, it's like, okay, can we deal with this, or can we not once we get to the main stage? That's kind of like the more important thing you get from these group stages, just information on these teams.
Well, I mean, if you want to play it standard, you see the Lifestealer for EG, I feel like. 2-Mail Storm is almost an auto ban at this point, given just how well they combo. Granted, it doesn't have the Drow Aura, which they love to run with the Storm, but that's a pretty scary combo.
Yeah, it also pairs super well with the Wisp. Obviously, like in the laning phase, you're able to stack whenever possible, and you can be pretty aggressive. You can step up, and obviously just throw your overloads with the Wisp movement speed and mana, and just obviously overall healing potential from that. It just gives him strength is his lane, because Storm does struggle a bit in the laning phase if he doesn't have like the greatest matchup and easy rotations to gank him, but Wisp enables him very hard in that laning phase.
So you see like Io Lifestealer, used to be, a lot of people felt like Io could be counterpicked, like Disruptor, Enigma, Void. They obviously already likely have their offlaner here in the Slardar, but anything in particular Complexity could target to try and shut down the Io pick?
Kind of changing up the way they like play versus it. We used to see, like you mentioned, we used to see the Enigma, the Tidehunters, the huge team fighters, but people kind of like play around in a different manner now with the Wisp. They go for just like this lane dominance, always having like a TP helping your lanes whenever possible. But Cole, what else have they really been liking lately? Every time I see them, I feel like I always see like Oracle Lash, Oracle Marana, or it's like Oracle Kunkka. So Kunkka is probably a decent one. Like, probably the one that stands out the most for me out of what Complexity likes to draft.
They do like to run some Naga here or there. Mm-hmm. The net's pretty good against Lifestealer. Of course, Psalm is good to deal with Relocate. So maybe that's something Complexity considers.
We have a possibility.
They will ban the OD now. So I mean, OD, a hero that was like automatic first phase ban, especially before the Omni Knight nerfs, was a real pestilence and pub, still very strong, but has been slipping through a little more into the second, third phase as of late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That hero's still he's just too strong. I still feel at least with the Astral, he gives you too much to the table. It just makes it too easy to play around. He's just such a solid laner. Yeah, he's just a solid hero. He doesn't really have to like do anything out of the ordinary. He's an OD kind of there. And it pairs super well with the Lifestealer, and it's pretty hard to like draft like counters to it. Like you have to like focus too much on these. If you have to focus on the OD, then you're not focusing enough on the Lifestealer to counter them. So.
Complexity. Now the third pick, they can really start to put their cards on the table. He said almost certainly a support and an offlaner here, but 100% confirmed, I suppose. Technically speaking, anyway. They're going to grab the Slark now. Slark, a pretty good matchup against Lifestealer. Good hero to hunt the Io and find him hiding in the trees, maybe deal with the split push a little bit. Also not an easy relocate target.
But third pick, I mean, that's very early. You leave them a lot of options to be able to grab heroes that can obviously have heavy AoE burst, easy lockdown for him in a way.
They just haven't picked their second support. Maybe they want like a disruptor to counter this.
Yeah. I mean, there's still what the big team fight too. There's Warlock. Probably won't see it, so it's not really Wisp Warlock doesn't sound like the most keen, but okay. EG's going for a early Spirit Breaker. This is interesting.
Good vehicle for the Lifestealer. How sure are you this is a support Spirit Breaker? It seems like that's the main way we have seen him, but is there any chance of something different?
It could definitely be the off-lane Spirit Breaker, because he can obviously break out of the leash from Slark if he's like laning in that manner. He also bears...
He trades auto attacks pretty well with melee heroes.
Yeah. I think it leaves it open a bit, and it's just obviously, you know, like that tracker. You want to have that tracker for the Slark in like later stages on.
Also, good vision hero to set up the IO relocates with the charge. So.
Easy to set up the ganks. Yeah, you can set up the gank with the Lifestealer and Spirit Breaker. You can bring 4 heroes pretty much an instant with the charge.
It's a party!
Yeah, instant parties.
Yeah, definitely possible. So Complexity, 4th pick now. They have plenty of late game here. They have decent Roche potential. Not the strongest lanes though, with the Slark opening. Even Leshrac does a lot of damage, but very squishy as far as support.
So they're gonna pick another fish, right? Because they have Slaughter and Slark already. What's another fish? Is there even another fish in Dota?
Tidehunter, right?
I guess that kind of counts.
I mean, he's a nasty fish. I wouldn't recommend eating.
I feel like they need something to at least
fish.
deal with the Spirit Breaker charge. Like, you can't just let him get his charges off every single time. Maybe something like a Rubik pairs pretty decent with the Leshrac. It's obviously not great versus these 3 heroes, but he's able to at least deter away from the charge, and he's able to set up decently for the Lesh.
So where have Complexity had their most success, would you say? As a team? Is it, to me, like from what I've seen, it feels like it's mostly been individual performances where, you know, Z-Freak just goes off on a really high-impact support, or Cancel has a really strong individual showing.
I think it's between those 2 guys, honestly. Those 2 are like the big powerhouses for me right now at the moment. For that team, but
so like Gravity and Baden.
That one's very curious to me.
It's not like an obvious Baden game. I guess the Spirit Breaker gives you some stuns you can debuff, but
you can move open wounds in laning phase too. So maybe they want to do a dual lane with the Slardar Abaddon just to be able to pressure the Lifestealer a bit.
But it's not like, I don't know, like a Mirana and some other like, you know, reliable stun that you want to be able to counter with the shield, or a big silence, for example.
And I mean, this is so perfect though for EG. Like, you're playing as a Slark and you have a Spirit Breaker Darkseer running at your face in your lane. Like, so much pressure on you, and Slark's a hero that you want to just kind of free farm. I mean, there's obviously like the MVP-esque thing that they do where they put like the Slark in the mid lane, but no other team really does that.
And someone is going to have a shit lane because it's either a Slardar or a Slark there. Neither of these heroes wants to lane against the Spirit Breaker Darkseer duo.
5 seconds.
You can't really, I guess you could try Slark mid depending on the matchup, but against Sumail, almost certainly you're going to get rolled. Especially because he's likely to have a more of a mid lane dominator.
Yeah. Both teams saving their mid laners. It's kind of something that we've been seeing happen for like the past couple months. They just want to get the great matchup for the 2 of them.
And Complexity will get the counter pick here. They'll have the last overall, so EG will have to put their cards on the table first.
I like it obviously it's a single card Lifestealer if they do this, but Puck still looks pretty decent for EG. It's very good versus the Slark, obviously, with the Silence, good versus Abaddon, great versus Leshrac with the Burst, and it pairs very well with Darkseer Spirit Breaker. You kind of have this wombo combo and easy setup.
It makes them very gank heavy though, because like their only way to kill buildings is that Desolator Lifestealer build.
Oh, okay.
They will go for someone who scales better in late game and gives them more tower siege. Grab the Alk, which has been kind of a star-crossed pick for EG,
yeah,
put it mildly.
Maybe they didn't want to deal with Alchemist either. Maybe they're like, we don't want to ban this, but you know, we don't want to play versus Alchemist, but we can play with it. We're
gonna figure out how to win with this hero no matter what. Yeah. Starting in the groups.
That's probably it. You know, they're like, all right, we lose every time we play with or against Alchemist. We got to learn at some point. So it's a good pickup here. It gives them more scale potential. It gives them more of a, obviously the D push as well if it gets to that point, obviously, because Leshrac, if Complexity is able to win a fight, Leshrac's always like that kind of big one that is able to take towers very easily. And now it's a Mirana pickup for Cole, so that's probably cancels here in the mid lane. But still, it looks kind of weird because Cole doesn't really have any team fight. Well, EG has obviously Darkseer, which is the king of team fight, and then they even have Spirit Breaker on top of that with the Wisp to follow up. So they have the mech on Darkseer, they have the double heal coming in with the IO, whoever he's tethered with, and they have farming monsters and many different gang setups. While Complexities is a bit more limited.
Yeah, Complexity are pretty good at dodging ganks, though, between the Slark sprint and Blink Dagger. Hopefully he is able to farm it for their sake. You've got Slark very elusive at the bat, and once he gets ult, not a great target to go on, and Muerta has 2 escapes of her own, so at the very least, they're not particularly easy to punish. But that said, this Leshrac might have to run.
Yeah, there's not a whole there's not a whole lot of lockdown on each either. It's gonna be like this. It's like the Spirit Breaker is able to he's able to catch pretty easily versus the Slark and the Muerta.
It's a really good Spirit Breaker game too. Like, what reliable ways do you have to actually cancel a charge here? And
it's a core Abaddon. So it's a support Slardar.
Freak Slardar.
Yeah, I actually thought it was gonna be the core Slardar and the support Abaddon in the lane, but okay. So they're going for this. And they have a lot of. They're gonna want to just get a lot of levels on the Abaddon so he can at least heal off the damage and everything, and maybe give them a bit more push potential if he goes for the Curse of Avernus. Is it missing? I think mine's there. Isn't it? I think mine's there.
Yours is there, but mine's not.
You've
Let's see,
lost.
does stream have game sound? I guess that's about right.
Yeah, that's probably the more important thing.
Guys, just yell at us if you
Just
don't.
yell at us if you don't have game
Try and
sound.
fix it.
Yeah, should be just fine. But
Luxy gonna start things off here with the 5-hero smoke.
boots on the Slardar.
Are gonna be revealed now. Arteezy.
Zai and Arteezy
Scouting
both in
out.
position to scout that out.
30 seconds to battle.
Too busy talking about me all tapping to actually tell me if you sound. So they do get down a hill ward in the mid lane, so they'll be able to, obviously versus the Muerta, having that ward is very important. The arrows, and I guess it is going to be a core Muerta, so a little bit less likely to cheat directly tanking it. No sound needed. See, now because I asked them, I'm not sure if they're trolling. Got
They might be trolling.
mistakes I made.
Yeah. Heavy contesting up for the top lane. EG's all in position. They have the double ion shell, so they're really emphasizing getting some mills. And oh my god, cancel almost just straight dies to the auto attacks. Claim the bounty.
That ion shell though does a lot of work, but no bounty run at level 1 for Sumail, so worth it. Definitely worth the cost of
Yeah, I mean this is still a tough matchup for the Muerta in my opinion. Alchemist is just able to free farm. That's just what the Alchemist does. He obviously just throws acid spray down. He gets his Grievous Greed, gets poor man shield. Once poor man shield's up, it's pretty much impossible for the Muerta to harass him out of lane. Especially since we'll probably see the Wisp running around between the mid and bottom lane, just able to heal up stack as much as possible. Probably to see Zai not starting top though.
I'm gonna go for a TP back here, Universe, just to the tier 1. He rotates to the jungle early. And are gonna be running the crit Arteezy dual lane, so I'll quite likely to move around depending on where he's needed. But for now, Sumail with the early stout ship Falling Blade. It's Muerta. Actually, should do pretty well as far as the point goes. This is a 1v1.
Yeah, cancel that. He got super harassed at the bottom lane. We're getting some pressure, but shields off the
You
open
see a
wounds.
bash?
Bash.
Yeah, he has the oob though. If they get a bash into the tether slow with the oob, I think that's quite likely a kill at this stage.
Yeah, I actually expected both teams to kind of do the dual off lanes, like the Spirit Breaker starting in top and the Slaughter starting bottom. But the one beauty is that Darkseer can jungle much easier than the Abaddon. So I guess that's EG's thought process is, just bring 3 heroes bottom, zone the Abaddon as much as possible, and he's kind of just stuck in this weird position where he can't go anywhere.
And along with that, I think just an adjustment to the fact that it's an offlane Abaddon in general. As perhaps not initially expecting it, but certainly ready for it. We did see Bulba do this a lot.
Oh, see free Kong for career snipe.
Get it.
He's gonna get it.
Taking some damage here. Gives up the Slardar. What do you even call this thing? Smack.
Tentacle
What
smack.
the hell is that? A fish head.
It's a grasping bludgeon.
I think it actually bites its prey. It has a mind of its own. Well, continue to pressure monkeys, and he is running pretty low on mana, but so far, getting his levels, he's doing alright, all things considered. Universe, though, definitely getting the upper hand here as far as the experience goes, and able to TP out, rotate back. And again, this is just a weakness of the Complexity draft. They don't have anyone that really deals particularly well with the Darkseer as far as a safe lane farmer goes.
Yeah, I mean it's still hard for him to really lane up there. If he gets hit by pretty much one stun, one leash from the pounce, he's kind of screwed. But yeah, he's just jungling. That's just what the hero. That's the beauty of having that hero wall. Abaddon can't really do that unless you go straight Iron Talon first item.
And if you do that, then you're going to be greedy in the jungle with their support.
Yeah, exactly. Then they can just have free movement. But yeah, mid lane already. Sumail pulling pretty far ahead, 15-2 to the 8-0 Muerta.
Sumail having a good time here. Cancel definitely struggling a bit. Went for the Bassi build, which we've seen Envy doing. I guess it's gaining a little more popularity with other players, but still mostly an Envy special. They are going to rotate Z-Freak down bottom, but so far he's been very ineffective in the early roaming. Hasn't been able to set anything up, and
Got the courier at least, though. That's kind of big.
that's true. He did get it. He did courier, but not really putting pressure on these lanes. You can see EG farming very well as a result.
Yeah,
It's a support Slark. Like, what are you really going to do?
exactly. He definitely recognized that, you know, he needs to help out his buddy bottom. Cancel, getting charged up mid. They see it, though, so he throws the arrow down, and yeah. His eye stops the charge.
If you see the charge, I guess the arrow's still an okay way to, depending on the angle. I'm still threatening to come in. We'll settle down a little bit for now. Z-Freak trying to cut Zai off. Actually, doesn't have the mana, but does have stick charges, so can charge out of here if need be. They've only got one way to interrupt it, not quite enough mana for the arrow, but they're gonna have to combo soon. Crush it into an arrow available.
That's it.
What's the arrow go? And
was a
Zai
bit late.
says, just kidding. But
That actually caught Z-Freak in life.
and this might be a first blood with
Oh, it's
Crush.
Fiend on
Everybody's on the
cancel.
high ground. The crush comes in again, not gonna matter. Cancel, leaping forward towards the eye. Once the crit kill, he will get it. He could get Zai as well. It might be a double. How many bashes will Zai get? He's gonna need like 2 or 3 at least. He gets 1, then the charge. 1 more should do the trick. It's gonna be close. He doesn't get it. Cancel will survive and gets
Cancel.
away. He's even there to help monkeys out though. Arteezy sidestepping the arrow as well. Chase monkeys a bit further.
RNG rune right there.
That was a game saver.
Definitely was. I mean, he's suffering quite heavily in the laning phase, but getting that rune, picking himself 2 kills up. That's one way to make your starter like a bit relevant in the laning phase. Even though he dies, he does pick up your 2 kills for his mid laner. Definitely important.
And they really needed that because Cancel 14 CS to the 27 of Sumail, and it's not like Sumail's got all that much help yet.
Yeah.
In the lanes, so that was the Zalf's still a concern, but at least Muerta being relevant as far as network goes.
Yeah, the support's now from Complexity making the move, so this is Universe's time to shine, make the move toward the top lane. He's already level 5. Early point in Vacuum. Interesting, not level 3 Iron Stone. Maybe he used the Vacuum to stack a camp or pull or whatnot with that. But yeah, also to note out, Complexity was stacking a bunch in the jungle, so they do have a big triple stack up at that hard camp for Mu to accelerate his farm once he gets to that point.
Yeah, definitely something that Slark can take advantage of. Let's go for the Iron Talon. We're gonna make the move around Zai. He charges on some swindles, but that's also directly into the Diabolic Edict. Pay for that. It's caught between a rock and a hard place there with the Muerta direct pincer move, but Complexity showing a lot of aggression and now gonna begin tri-laning mid. They've dropped the lane where they don't want this active free farm. Could be setting up for a dive, though he has Chemical Rage available.
He's 6 with a raindrop. That's a pretty tough kill.
They recalibrate, seeing that he does have level 6 now.
Definitely a lot of emphasis, though, as you're mentioning on that mid lane. Putting 1 mid lane ward and 1 even behind the tower. Bottom lane, Monkeys Forever. This is gonna be his
Has
demise.
no TP. Already shielded before the Oppo wound, so that's not even counting for the charge. But they could move in and catch crit. A crush here will be his death. Most likely Swindle's coming in, follow-up stun available, gets the kill, now needs to run away. The Arteezy, no open wounds for some time, but has the phase foot advantage. Swindle's running in and fades. Like Shadow saving him. They might even be able to move back in on Zai if he's not careful. A crush here sets something up that Swindle's a bit too low, and this time they know open wounds is ready. Would be a death for the Leshrac, so not gonna go.
Nice aggression, though. They're definitely trying to make the moves as much as possible. They know this is kind of the way you have to play versus an Alchemist. You know, you can't really get involved early on, so you just put as much aggressive movement as possible, and they're very smart with their warding, too. They even put another one bottom lane, so yeah, just heavy amounts of aggression from them, keeping an eye on what's going on from EG. They even spot out this humongous 4 stack that EG was bringing up with the Wisp in the bottom lane. And even, EG puts down a River Ward, and it's actually already instantly countered by the Sentry. Well, it's there, but they haven't killed it just yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, Z-Freak already planted it. I'm not sure he's even going to notice. Kind of busy pressuring Sumail, who does without 1,000 gold, closing in on that armlet. So overall, Giannis, with the back and forth of the lane stage, you have a free farm Slark. On one side, 3 cores doing really well. On the other, kill advantage for Complexity. It is a slight lead for EG, but like overall, as far as gold goes at least, overall, are you happy here with the Slark complex had if you're on their side, or do you feel like they have to get more done against the Cell?
I think they're doing an okay job. The biggest concern for me is the Abaddon. He's only level 4 in this bottom lane. Oh, he just hit level 5 now, so I think he's struggling just a bit too much. They want to have him in a better position, and Z-Freak now might be just dying to the 2 supports. Universe surging in as well.
The classic neutral deny. There is no vision. Z-Freak might just be able to TP away. Universe with that 1 point in vacuum could be the hero, but he guesses wrong, and Z-Freak plan gets away. Meanwhile, Swindle's moving on to Sumail.
This is an ambitious fight for sure.
Yeah, well, wants to force out the Chemical Rage, I suppose, but Zai also gonna make his move in. Swindle's with the haster and then carry away. That's one fast disco code.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Abaddon, like you said, is not getting a hold.
The one thing I thought Mu would actually do is, go for that rush Shadow Blade. Obviously, like, getting it first is the obvious thing that he's going to do, but he's picking up a lot of small items. Finishes up his treads, obviously finishes up the Iron Talon, pretty sure that one's just core, but even finishing up the Ring of Aquila, and now he's bringing out a Magic Wand on top of it. So he's not going to have that, like, 12-minute Shadow Blade to be able to pressure that early. He's going for, like, just maybe 1 or 2 many small items, but he does have the stack to at least accelerate his farm a bit and then be able to get involved. But
I mean, you look at the rest of the lineup, fighting early feels natural, right? You've got a Slardar, an Abaddon, Muerta. These are all heroes that can get involved, even Leshrac at support that needs to, but he really is their only late game I mean, Muerta is okay, but not great at killing single targets, and you have an Alchemist and a Lifestealer with Rage, who has a lot of ways to deal with magic damage, so it's going to be Slark who deals with those heroes later on. Obviously not rushing a big item, just put a bit more of a ceiling on his late game.
yeah, I mean, it's not terrible for Call though, because also the Wisp and the Spirit Breaker are super under level. The Spirit Breaker is only level 3. Wisp is level 4, not even close to 5, or kind of close to 5. Just, like missing 400 experience, but Complexity trying to put some pressure on RTZ here, but that's a very tough kill. They have to land a crush into an arrow. But yeah, the thing that opens up though is for them to steal the stack. This is a huge move for Complexity here for sure.
Wow. They're gonna find it now with the shield on Monkeys, level 6 secured. Getting some much needed experience. Also, Z-Freak on the Slardar was only level 4 at 10 minutes coming in. That's quite low for him.
Mu getting pressured really heavy right now. He gets the TP, but he gets vacuumed.
Uh-oh. That 1 point in vacuum could be his downfall, but now also the Moonlight Shadow and EG still not carrying detection. Twice in a row now, they've been hoodwinked by the Muerta of Cancel, and if this happens a third time, I'm pretty sure some heads are gonna roll.
Yeah, that's actually huge. Like, they committed a lot to try to get him there, but the one thing they do get out of it is, this is a smart move, very smart move by RTZ. They see all the pressure coming down in the bottom lane, and this is just like, this is standard now, pretty much for the majority of teams, is my safe lane's getting pressured, I'm out. I'm going to your safe lane.
Used to be people would try to defend it, but not the case anymore.
It's kind of just like defending that tower, defending the safe lane tier 1 is just like, it's a pinch trap. There's too many entrances to be able to like contest with that. You have to pretty much have your entire team there to defend it. They don't want Sumail to get involved. Like, he's just farming. All he needs to do is really just get that Radiance online. He's got his armlet. He's having a great time already.
Yeah, 2,600 net worth sitting at, or 2,600 gold bank sitting at 7,300 net worth. That would be pretty bad if you're mid-Alchemist. They are now going to move towards Sumail. He has Chemical Rage online. They are scouting him out. They're going to move on to a wall in Chemical Rage. Follow-up stun will come through from Swindles. They're going to chain this with an arrow, not even close to scratching that out. And now they just want to get the hell away. Monkey's proper position. He can throw out a shield. They can re-engage on squishier supports, but even Universe arriving. So 4 heroes to the lane. And not there. There's Arteezy, just relaxing in the top lane, has his own armlet completed. Mu will just be duking out for a while. Really want to apply the pressure here in the mid lane, though. This tower is about to be in deny range now as Cancel continues chipping away. Arrow having a fish. Zai could get crushed now. Last hit, though, not happening as the glyph gets popped. Crit trying to deny this tower. In the meantime, they're farming Ancient. Zai gets hit by the double Starstorm. Might end up going down. Indeed, he will. Cancel finds the kill. The tower denied by Crit, but was it worth the Crit? He might die, too. Where's Arteezy? He's still farming the top lane. Now the tether out. Crit being pursued, though. Angry Fish on the case, and in a lot of trouble, surged away by Universe, but getting body blocked at the same time. Sprint has worn off. Looks like he should make it out, even though the arrow pierces through the heart of the ball of light. Great snipe there by Cancel, and only now does Arteezy arrive, and it's to the bottom lane where he'll make short work of Swindle. Yeesh.
Alright. Cancel's in some trouble right now. He does have the Moonlight Shadow, but he's charged up right now. Do they have the dust? They do this time.
Yeah, the third time will not be the charm. Okay, they got good mileage on the first two, and So still a bit of a support tax even when they do active.
Very keen on keeping the aggression up though. It's starting to work out a bit, like quite well for them. Of course, not able to kill the Alchemist, and this is going to be the big problem for them. But at least they're dealing with the other actors. And then once Mu gets his Shadow Blade, and once Cancel's able to like isolate the Alchemist, then maybe they can burst him down. But I think they're still going to really struggle to kill him. It's gonna it's gonna be like this Alchemist just gets his timings, and then that's like, how do they really deal with this? Because how do they really deal with an Alchemist just throwing illusions out of the lanes with the Radiance? Who really is able to just split push super hard? Slark's decent at clearing waves, so is Mirana, but is it enough?
Threat. Quite a bit of trouble here. Mu could pursue, could even commit the ultimate if he wants to die for this. He's gonna leap forward. 2 more auto attacks to get the job done. He is going in, but he's being charged. Zai able to usher him away. Close call there for Crit though, who desperately wants to get the relocate online. Monkey's moving here top now, working towards the flats. How do you feel about the abandoned pick overall? Has it gotten enough done for you? Do you like the way Complexity are running it? A lot of early skirmishes, not really getting too much farm.
I think they grabbed it just so they can kind of like ball up as a unit and just kind of take towers. I think this is where it's going to start to shine. He definitely struggled a bit more in the laning phase than they would have liked, but they got the all 3 tier 1s down. So, and he wasn't even really there for him, so I don't really feel like he's like having the effect that they wanted it to. But maybe into like the later stages, just being able to shield off a couple like open wounds, shield off the stun, shield off the charges, it might be better. But comparing that to a Darkseer, I think the Darkseer just kind of fits the suit for EG just much better than it does for the Abaddon from Complexity.
Meanwhile, EG just not only farming on their Alchemist, but Arteezy. He's hardly been in any fights, just constantly bouncing from lane to lane. Desolator really complete, and this will give them some...
Well, this is a great smoke by Complexity here.
They are going to scout out Sumail. Let's just move for now, but he's got the night vision advantage. Sumail has not seen him just yet move. Really playing with that night vision. Excellent forward there, and now he makes the jump onto Sumail. Chemical Rage activated. They're still looking to chase though. The smoke wraparound comes through right past Arteezy. They're going to look to go on him. He rages off the amp damage immediately. Now Z-Freak into the trees looking for the IO instead. Swindle's already down to start the fight. They might get the Arteezy grab. No, it's the side! Coming in hot and heavy. Tax the Etcha service. Now the tether to keep him alive a bit longer. Sumail hiding the trees on the wall. Great individual play by EG. Will they make it out though? Sumail trapped, alone, and dead. They still get the kill on the Alchemist. Now Crit trying to escape, but doesn't have the TP for 10 seconds. Once an amp hits him, he too will fall. Doesn't even need the crush. Z-Freak by the kill. I mean, EG played that pretty cutely. It's not. Yeah.
That was a really good rotation by Complexity. Like Mu, kind of like you're mentioning, he was just kind of like playing with Sumail a bit with the night vision, and then the rotation from Complexity from the mid lane smoke. That was a very clever movement. Arteezy does get out, which is the one detriment for him, but get a couple kills, which is great. And now mid lane, Arteezy might get hit by the stun. Just
Swindle's just barely missing. Bit of bad luck there. The EG now charging in. Z-Freak ready to interrupt the charge. Good setup there. The follow-up comes through. The brothers start to lay into Zai. They want to kill this sweet boy off, and they will do so. At the same time, though, Slark will fall. That's the bigger loss for sure. A 1-for-1. Complexity. Away.
Yeah, that hurts though. Like you can feel how under the gun Complexity feels in this game. They really need to constantly keep running at them. But the Alchemist is still just getting his farm on. Even Arteezy is doing a very good job of like just keeping his farm really far ahead. He's almost got his Desolator finished up on top of that armlet. So that's going to be their their building hitter. Instead of going for that Echo Saber this game, he just feels like they need to like kind of just pressure towers a bit more with that. But his rage is on cooldown for 5 seconds. He's going to need something to infest.
Or maybe a tether to keep him alive a bit longer. He can rage off the amp damage. Then there's the relocate out. Will they reset and try to take the fight? The wall was already committed previously by Universe.
Max on cooldown, but they look keen to fight. Zai is charging in onto Cancel.
Cancels the charge. The Alch concoction enough. Zone Complexity away. Arrow not going to connect. Well, back off. Just the threat of that big team fight will scare them. And so Mu, after buying the Shadow Blade, does go down. 1-1-1. So far, not a big impact on Slark. They're going to move into the Roshan pit. And they take a big fight here, though, Yachty. So you mentioned that their team fight isn't the strongest. They still don't have the Ags here. EG came, it could be a dire situation, but it doesn't appear EG know, or at least they want to risk it.
Yeah, without the wall down, they are a bit weaker. It's a little bit hard to fight into Cole's lineup just in that segment without that potential. And also, like, Zai's having a pretty rough game. Like he's got just level 7, no items really on him. The Wisp as well, just boots bottle.
It's alright, they'll feed him in Aghanims later.
Yeah. that'll be the nice thing too. That's the great thing about having this Alchemist, and that's the strategy that they're going for. You know, when you pick an Alch, that's kind of what you know what you're getting into. He's just gonna run around farm, and it's really a lot on Sumail and Arteezy this game in comparison to everybody else on the side of EG. Like Universe, you know he's gonna get his job done. This is a Universe Darkseer.
God, imagine a Universe Darkseer with 7 item slots. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. Top lane, Z-Freak. Looks like it might be his demise here.
With the charge in, the crush attempted by Z-Freak doesn't get it off in time, and with failure to do so, he will definitely die. Arteezy even being relocated into the fray. Monkeys is there, and Arteezy giving him a bit of chase, already coming to the open wounds. Backing off. As mentioned, did go for the Desolator. They're gonna relocate back to the mid lane. Crit drops them off. Taxi done its job for the day.
Yeah, that was like
Did get a lane or a jungle ward down wall, that was all happening.
That was like a nice little movement, nice little double movement by them. They net a kill and they get the vision down, but Mu is aware of it, pinging out on the height, or around the area, but he didn't find it exactly. If Swindle's able to find it with the 2nd Sentry, and he is.
That is definitely crucial with the Slark. You're dealing with an IO, right? You mentioned also there's the Infest Bomb, there's the long range charge, so really 4 heroes can show up. You have BOTs and Alch, maybe all 5 can even come. You need to make sure you keep the vision advantage, and that's where the Slark really comes in handy.
Big question to me is this enough? And I still don't think it is. This Alchemist is still just farming out of control. He's getting close to his Manta style, and that's when it's just become like almost impossible because they don't really have anything that can just like okay, Muerta and Slark can kind of force the lanes out, but then who's their hunter? They need this blink on Z-Freak in order to really be able to go for those access points of killing Sumail with like a couple different rotations because they need to bring like 3 heroes actually to kill that Alchemist and make sure that the EG's not really in the area.
EG are actually up almost over 5,000 gold, and they're down 2 towers. So, well, you imagine at some point the tower score is going to equalize. Suddenly they're up closing in on like 8,000 gold, and nearly a 10k advantage with the Alchs straight up farming. By the time they get those towers, could well be the case. So
this is where
it doesn't feel like they're getting enough.
Yeah, this is where they get a good amount more map control on the side of EG. Manta style finished. He's just gonna be able to throw illusions, cut creep waves, force lanes out. Crit though, bottom lane, easily brought there.
Tried for the relocate, not gonna work out, and now the chase on his eye. They amp him up, he's got to charge away, and it will bash Z-Freak as he tries to get in range. Straight on towards mid, and I imagine will be cancelled. At some point there's a leap into an arrow, but arrow... Like,
this is where
space created. Sumail farming the enemy woods, Universe farming top.
Yeah, they should give Z-Freak a place to farm. Just finish up that blink. He's so close. Definitely gives them opens up a big option for them to be able to get kill everybody else even. Like they can just ignore the Alch for a bit and just keep fragging and then get to the point where they can deal with him. But still, definitely very difficult to go for him.
With like enough items, it does feel like they have that opportunity. Zai's gonna charge in directly on the Swindles with the Infest Bomb, unloads Arteezy. The turn comes though quickly. Zai will be brought down. Arteezy the back away, so support for support, and unfortunately, Fearbreaker down again. Gee, another death for him, but I guess like we talked about, he has the comeback mechanism with the Ags, and that is not available to this.
He is trading deaths for Swindles.
Secret strategy for EG, put Swindles on tilt.
Yeah, Swindle's kind of doing his job though. Like he's been pretty good at like following around the rotations, getting the stuns off with his brother Z-Freak. And now this is good timing. Now he got the blink dagger on Slaughter, maybe a little bit later than he wanted, but he opens up the map a little bit to them with that Slark running around with the Shadow Blade.
So I imagine we will see the Octarine next for Sumail.
Yep.
We need some armor items versus the Slardar going late game.
Yeah, definitely just like the kind of the standard, right? The Octarine into Shiva's Guard. It's usually what we just see picked up. Mu going for a solo pick up on Crit, but his butt, nobody's near him. He's actually completely alone. He's got the Aegis, he's got Shadow Dance.
He realized there was other people here, and now Mu in a lot of trouble. He's going to commit the ultimate, tries to run away, Shadow Dancing out. Pouncing as well. He does have the Aegis. They can reset around him, go for a round 2 fight, but only if his team gets in position first. The arrow crashes in. Couldn't connect on Arteezy while he's raged, so it doesn't get much done. Z-Freak's gonna likely die here on 3, making 4 hero charged by Zai, who delivers in spades. Mu there to turn this one though. He continues to engage, still holds the Aegis. The crush comes through onto 3. Great job. Can they focus on Universe? They will do, and suddenly Cancel arrives, make it a 2 for 2. EG on the run, Zai scrambling out. Arteezy though, getting the job done for now, takes the habit on with him at least. And now into the trees they engage. A 2-hero stun from Sumail, but instantly Dark Pact off. Mu gonna try to bring him down, but just very slow, ineffective poking. The Aegis, I believe, expired during this time. Now he's gonna pounce out. He tries to run, unable to pursue over the tree line, but they get the charge. Zai's coming in, hot and heavy. Shadow Blade's there. Oh, so close to dying. He wants to go back in. Mu's gonna come in for this. He gets the kill. Can he jump out? You betcha he can, but the concoction takes him down. Was it worth it?
They got our TC. You know, it was a 4-for-4 trade, but like we're saying, this is the Alchemist's power. They really don't have anything to do. Oh, and he's gonna get his free kill on Swindle here. Oh no, goodbye Swindles. 1-2.
That was
cash money.
A little too easy.
It's like a creep. Casual farm right there.
Yeesh.
That's like.
I mean, that's the thing to keep in mind, right? It's like Alp didn't even really get damaged that entire fight, and they had an Aegis, although I believe it expired mid-fight. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
definitely unfortunate for them losing that. Mu would have lived at least in the end of that, and it would have been like a pretty decent trade 4-for-4. Problem is now, boy Alchemist has his Octarine, and now you know, like you said, he wasn't even scratched at all in that last team fight. How are they gonna really deal with him now? They don't have anything to deal with.
Don't have the best single target until quite late when Slark is really farmed.
Yeah, like cancel can do a good amount of burst, obviously with the double Starfall, and once you get the Ethereal Blade on top of that, he has a good amount of single burst. But an Alchemist can kind of deal with that, especially at this point. 2,500 life when he has his armlet toggled, Chemical Rage.
Not to mention they have an IO as well. Nice pick on the Courier by cancel, but can he make it out? Suit a bit. Team sweeping in to engage and out crit, tethering his way back towards safety, but Mu's still in pursuit. They're going to get the F damage. Spirit's actually hitting Mu, and that immediately prompts a flurry of things and a sentry plant. They know that someone's in the area. Barely built up. Scrap together a D-ward. Sumail's bad and bash.
He did go for the Basher. I think this is just the build that he does. He likes to go for the Vlad's is kind of like the standard, the Basher. I think they just feel like they need a little bit more lockdown, more reliable through the Rage, especially.
Curse of Avernus, you know, you get that little bit of attack speed.
Gives him I guess like a scaling potential as well in kind of a way, but.
And in long fights, I suppose, gives them a way to potentially lock down a lifestealer through the Rage, maybe finish.
Yeah.
Not sure how much auto attacking he's going to be doing, to be honest.
Exactly. I mean, this Alchemist is a massive problem. We keep saying it, we keep talking, but that's what it is when you pick an Alchemist last. It's the whole emphasis of the draft, and he just passed the 1,000 GPM. So, remember guys, you remember your predictions for your compendiums? He has now reached the 1,000, so if you didn't put that, tough luck.
Yeah, if you thought EG would stop picking Alchemist after the many disastrous Alchemist performances they've had so far.
Mm-hmm.
Try to fill off that IO, but crit pesky as ever. Just gonna be away. Haven't really seen much out of this Slark, to be honest, Giannis. He was given an Aegis. He is 5-2 and 3 now, but still nowhere near shutting down the Alchemist. The supports are struggling, but they can catch up at least one of them quite a bit later with the Aghanim Scepter. And I mean, frankly, like they're not stopping the cores really from farming that much at all, which is the bigger concern.
Yeah, I mean, they can kill off the supports, they can kill off everybody from the side of EG, but yeah, it's the Alchemist who is the big problem. They need to pretty much kill everybody and then isolate him, and then it's still pretty tough for them to actually bring him down. It's like everybody needs to kind of just be focusing on him, and it still might not even be enough because of how farm he really is. Like, he's gonna have the Shivas already finished up too.
The good news is he's running out of better stuff. There's a silver lining, that's probably it. I think we mentioned it canceled to get the Ags a while ago, and into the Blink Dagger, now back to the Shotgun. And late game Mirana with the full 6-7 slot kit, that is a lot of potential single target, either going back into physical damage with the Slardar amp to back you up, or just even doubling down and going to put that Dagon 5 kill. But either way, those have plenty of room to scale. I guess that's my question is, do you think Complexity can drag this out? Like, and if it goes super late, do they then have the advantage?
It definitely is potential. They make it to a super late point just because of the options of their heroes. They can kind of like weave in and out of the fights over and over, and that could be their potential because of underfarmed most of the heroes on EGR. So maybe there's a potential of like a super late game for them. But right now, it's definitely way too hard for them to do.
EG's job like not to let them even get there.
Yeah. Not like feed too much and then like be able to just get Aegises and break all the towers and claim map control, at least with this Alchemist. But yeah, definitely at like a super late game potential, Complexity can weave in and out of the fights, and clean up everybody and isolate the Alchemist in a way. That's quite a ways away from now.
Are you gonna replace that Iron Talon? Does have the Shivas, as you mentioned. So, really only a mood shards that he could grab, or maybe trade something out for like an AC, get rid of that armlet potentially.
Yeah, more than likely get rid of that armlet and grab something. I'm not sure if the AC could be pretty easy just to break high ground, but I think Arteezy would be more than likely the one to get that after like.
Oh, that was a quick two-shot. This Leshrac just not feeling like a hero anymore. ZG chase in, confident to move forward. Z-Freak does have a crush ready. Could be a 3-4 hero crush. He's just gonna flop out an amp damage. Sumail immediately starts sprinting after him. They're gonna jump away, and G now ripping up the concoction. Not gonna find anyone to latch onto with this. It looks like just a quick self-stun.
They did see that.
Coming in. Oh, just misses the Darkseer.
They did see that Z-Freak didn't port back base there though, so that's a big tell. Like when he charged him, it didn't show him in base. It showed him at that tier 1 tower bottom. So they're like, okay, Complexity's definitely trying to still just fight in the area. So they all just kind of just chill there too, outside of EG.
A lot of dancing. Unfortunately, this means Slark not farming, whereas Alchemist with his illusions constantly.
AC finished up now on Arteezy, and Sumail's already on his way toward that first Aghanims for either Universe or Zai.
Shotgun, meanwhile, completed for the Mirana, and it gets IO. This is basically an instant kill if they can find crit. Even the Spirit Breaker, the Darkseer, will come pretty close to dying, and they want a pipe to deal with this. Universe trying to work on one. It's still gonna be a while before the full pipe is completed, so a decent window here from Mirana at the big impact is Sumail. Aggressively sieging this tower, goes for a quick, short duration stun on Z-Freak. Z-Freak continuing to sprint. Back away, Monkey's there to help him. Meanwhile, Zai charging in is going to isolate Cancel, tries to bring him down. The Moonlight Shadow already committed, but he leaps out into a beautiful vacuum. Universe able to interrupt that one. Can they focus him down? Defensive Ghost Scepter trying to escape, heading to the right instead. He's going to live for now. Cancel not dead yet, but the Illusion Bird might take him down. Zai there with the charge will finish him off. 3 have fallen. About to be a 4th Monkeys Forever. Already committed his ult. And out, by the way, still at full health. Arteezy's still quite healthy. They do get the IO, but isn't enough.
Yeah, they can't deal with this Alchemist at all. They even tried to go for some like cute wraparound with Complexity, but there's just no way they can kill him. Like there's actually no way now. And this is the timing window for EG. They've got the AC finished up on Arteezy. They've got a 6-slotted Alchemist. This is where they can just siege the base and close this game out for sure.
They're just not keeping up in items. Alch net worth more than Mirana and Slark combined, to say nothing of their other cores still doing quite well in their own right. But they mow down the melee racks, the range bottom. I mean, game looking quite close to over, Yannis. Heading into game 2, what kind of adjustments do you want to make of your Complexity? Is it just the way they laned it? Is it more down to the picks? Where do you pin this one?
I mean, this is like Alchemist versus the world, kind of in a way. There's actually they just can't deal with him at all. I mean, they banned the Storm last ban, which is definitely a good ban because they didn't have any lockdown really for him. So you can't really blame them for doing that, but what's worse, right? Dealing with the Alchemist
is Arteezy just destroying you with lifesteal all the while. I think they're gonna find Swindles here momentarily. Tries for a few seconds to Pulse Nova. It's a fleeting effort by him, and he will go down. Meanwhile, Monkey's about to finish up. This is pretty much the end.
Like Slark, like when you third pick a Slark, especially, like you're putting yourself in a position where they can kind of just these heroes that ramp up in a faster manner. That's exactly what Alchemist does. Like he farms at a five-fold rate over a Slark, and the Slark is able to just get non-stop pickup, but that's not gonna happen. Sumail just, he just run it. He just doesn't care at all.
Yeah, he already gave someone an egg, so I didn't actually get.
Gave it to Universe. Yeah. Yeah,
you can't really blame Complexity for not game planning for the Alpha though, because it's looked so bad for EG the last like month.
I don't know if that's really like a good like reason though to not like. I mean,
I love
it's a last pick Alchemist though.
I love the fact that they're still running it, but like if I'm Complexity, I'm not really expecting EG would want to run out, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, that's where they get you, and I like the fact that EG is being stubborn and not just giving up on it, because it keeps their drafting options open heading into the main event. And you know, with the format we have for this event, it feels like this group stage is almost, if not more, about mind games and kind of setting the stage for drafts in that main event. It's at least, if it's not only about that, it's definitely more so about that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to be a tier 1 team in any manner, you have to be able to like play Alchemist at the manner. I mean, the hero is pretty ridiculous, especially at the last pick. Like, you can see how the damage potential that he just does. Like, he's unkillable. He died once when he wasn't online at all. But now it's when he's completely online and Complexity's just fighting. Not even just an uphill battle. It's like going up a mountain.
They're trying to scale the wrong side of map first. This is just not looking great for them. Sumail killing off Swindles on one side of the map, basically. Slark just a big bucket of gold for them. Is Cancel desperately trying to bring down Crit. Arrow, though, could be tanked by Zai. That is a sign of friendship here.
By Cancel.
Cancel likely to be next. Focused down by Sumail. Mauled by the Spear Breaker and a little karate chop by the Conehead. We'll kill them all. Meanwhile, we'll get the Arteezy kill. The tears will flow from him, but PG overall, pretty solid. But still a full HP Alchemist, basically unkillable. They're gonna lob in the concoction, vacuum the combo with them. Nice 2-hero catch and make it 4, make it 5. Complexity at some point. This is just bad for morale.
Yeah, I think they're probably just like thinking about the next game already. Like, yeah, we should probably just ban their 4th Alchemist. Not won't have to deal with something like that. I actually don't.
Maybe run it.
Or maybe even run it.
You could see them run.
I think they definitely run it. Cancel can play it. He plays it in pubs. His big 3, I think, are like Alchemist, OD, and Morana. I think those are the ones. But yeah, you just look at the core pair off from EG in comparison to Cities, and you can kind of like feel that kind of dictated the way the game was gonna go, unless somehow Complexity super snowballed in a way, but.
Do they run Meepo, by the way, Complexity? I don't think they...
No, they don't have a Meepo player.
Because that's the one other hero I know a lot of analysts have talked about, like Meepo's actually a good counter to Al, because he's just so fast.